What's up, Yankee fans? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees. I apologize for the long delay on the start of this live stream, but we are here on Fireside Yankees to discuss the market, which is stuck. Like, there's no other way to put it. The market is stuck. The Yankees have not done anything. We are in a weird place with this roster where, look, it's anxiety-inducing to see the Red Sox get Wilson Contreras, know that the Blue Jays have made additions, know that their additions are not going to come to a halt, and know also that, hey, your team hasn't really done anything. And so I'm not here to tell you guys to be like, oh, wow, a move is right around the corner, guys. I mean, it's right around the corner. Don't worry about it. But I am here to talk about, hey, what's out there? What can the Yankees do? Are they screwed? Are there, like, what is the current situation? We're going to do almost a state of the address is almost what this is, fellas, because I think we all agree this is some scary shit. They're not doing anything. That sucks. It can be very anxiety-inducing, and I want to calm your nerves, essentially. I want to get everybody. We're gonna get everybody together. We're going to talk some ball. We're going to do a lot of things tonight. I'm really excited to talk because, to be completely frank, I miss you guys. I miss doing these live streams. I miss you guys a lot. I hope you guys miss me as much as I miss you. We'll be going live again tomorrow. We'll probably do a longer stream than the one we're doing tonight. Not that we're not going to go live for a good bit tonight, but because it's going to be the night before Christmas Eve. I'm not going to be able to go live on Christmas. Not going to be able to go live on Christmas Eve. Obviously, that goes without saying. I'm going to spend time with family, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, the formalities, all of that stuff. But I do want to make sure we spend some time together because it is a great time always to talk with you guys. I really appreciate the support you've provided us throughout the year. If you're here, let's get a Let's Go Yankees going. And honestly, I don't even have like show list ideas. There is nothing going on. The Yankees have signed Paul Blackburn. That's it. There's nothing going on right now. So I am very reliant on, I'm going to answer your questions. We're going to have a good conversation. We're going to keep this thing moving. And yeah, so we'll go from here. Let's start with the first comment, and it is, Ryan, let's make some moves. It's from John Blom. Everyone's getting better except the Yankees. Salvatore's like, seriously, dude, he agrees with John. And yeah, it's anxiety-inducing. I don't like it. It's an uncomfortable position to be in if you're a Yankee fan. And that's not, look, this is Mr. Ryan Garcia has been Mr. Keep it calm, keep it pushing. It's not that I'm panicking. It's that there is, look, it's getting antsy time. It's, King's off the board. Okay. Like, that's a guy who's down. The reliever market's flown. Okay. All right. It's one of those things where, again, I don't know, man. I have the fan in me who's like, oh man, this sucks. This is terrible. I hate this. I think this is terrible. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm this. I'm that. I'm feeling a million things. That's the fan in me. But the fan in you or the fan in me, I can't just be the fan on here. I have to be the fan, but also the analyst. And I think I try and blend those lines pretty well. Sometimes, look, I'm going to just be a fan, and that's going to happen. I'm an emotional guy. No one is perfect. I don't expect myself to be perfect, but I expect myself to be good enough, and to push myself to get better every day at it. But, again, like I empathize with the fan emotion, but I'm also like, hey guys, give us some time, man. Give us some time. So the Yankees should sign, this from Blaze, by the way. The Yankees should sign Bichette before the Red Sox do. He's only 28 years old, and when Judge retires, he could be the next captain of the team, mentoring young players like Volpe and Wells. So we're going to get this. We're going to change the layout a little bit. We're going to get our, we're going to get some stuff on the board here. But before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons that have been incredible. And I just, it's really one of those things where we started this Patreon, and don't worry, when I finish this spiel, I'll give you an answer. I'll give you the Bichette answer, and I'll have a new overlay for you guys, a little setup action. So I'm going to display our Patreons real quick on screen before I answer this question. I want to thank our patrons. I want to thank everybody who has joined, both paid and unpaid members. This is not a, if you don't give me money, I don't like you kind of thing. This is a, hey, I thank all of you guys. I thank everybody. You guys have been incredible with support, and it's really made the experience of being part of this and doing this has been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. So I really appreciate your guys' continued support here. And without further ado, let's get right back to talking about Bo Bichette. Enough of this sentimental stuff. No, I'm joking. Thank you guys again for everything that you guys have given us throughout the year. We really, really appreciate it. You guys have been phenomenal there. But when it comes to Bo Bichette and whether the Yankees should sign him or not, I don't know what I just did. Oh, I got to take this overlay off. That's what's going to happen. We've got to look at what the Yankees are with Bo Bichette. And this past season, incredible year, 134 WRC plus. He was one of the best hitters in baseball. He was a great right-handed hitter. Cool, great, awesome. That's sick. But the Blue Jays are going to probably sign this guy. Like that's where I keep getting back to. The Blue Jays have a need. The Red Sox have a need. And I don't think Bichette is like inclined to be a Yankee. I think all things equal, he would go back to Toronto. And I think if the Red Sox were in on this, they would have a greater need for him and would be willing to bid more for him. So when you ask me, hey, Ryan Garcia, do you think the Yankees are signing Bo Bichette? My answer is like pretty emphatic no. I think it's a pipe dream. And despite how people feel, I just think that their number one target is Cody Bellinger. That's where my head always comes back to with this stuff. From William M. McConaughey, and I want to appreciate the fact that you gave me the super chat. Thank you, William. He goes, sign Bichette and Amai and give Dominguez a shot. Again, kind of what I alluded to earlier. If all things are equal between the Yankees and the Blue Jays on a contract, do you mean to tell me I'm supposed to believe that he's going to take the Yankees offer over the Blue Jays offer? He was drafted by the Blue Jays. He came up a Blue Jay. He's won a pennant with the Blue Jays. He was this close to the Blue Jays. Like, there is so many. He can play second base with the Blue Jays. He and Vladdy are boys. There is, I think, a lot more emotionally. And I understand, in this era, like player movement, there's more player movement. Guys leave teams more frequently than ever before. This, that, and the third. I get it. I'm not blind to it, but I do think we're kind of desensitized to it. These are still human beings. I have a hard time believing he's going to leave Toronto for equal money. So, yeah. Sign him and Bellinger or trade for a starting pitcher like Gore or Peralta / McGill. Look, I would love for the Yankees to address the rotation, address the bullpen, and address the outfield. If they can do those three things and they do it in an appropriate manner, I think that this is going to be a pretty freaky good baseball team next year. I keep coming back to this notion that the Yankees are a good baseball team who, I think the PR is just shot because they got smoked in the DS. And it's not that you ignore the fact they got smoked in the DS. It's that you go, hey, did they get smoked in the DS because they were a bad baseball team or because they played 4 bad baseball games? And I think they played 4 bad baseball games. The Blue Jays were great. They were red hot. We got to give credit to that Blue Jay team and the way they performed in the postseason. This was a phenomenal offensive performance. But again, I think that as this comment notes, you get me the outfielder, you get me the starter, you get me the reliever. This is a really damn good team. John Ginta goes, let's go Yankees. I'm like under the impression this is the Blue Jays guy. And that's a really disrespectful way of saying this is the guy who runs the Gate 14 podcast. I have like PTSD to like the Twitter spaces we did in 23 when the team was terrible. The team was so bad. And we host these spaces and he'd pop in and he'd be like, Johnny from the Bronx. That was really funny. But if that is Johnny, happy holidays to you, man. And if this is just a guy who has a very coincidental name, happy holidays to you, man. I'm over with the Bellinger drama and burying our kids. Look, I get it. You want to see the young guys play because, hey, you've seen what Ben Rice did. You saw what Cam Schlittler did. And these things are like really fun and great. But I think a lot of people swing too far in the balance of like one way or the other. With, let's say, Volpe. You'll watch Volpe play and your conclusion will be, hey, because of him, never trust a prospect again. Like, I don't care who the number one guy is, trade him. And I'm going to just take a sip here. Have some coffee going. But on the other side, it's, hey, Ben Rice ends up being this stud and Cam Schlittler ends up being awesome. If the Yankees had traded for a starting pitcher, either A, Schlittler would have been in that trade, or B, the Yankees would not have seen Cam Schlittler pitch. Very unlikely that a pitcher would have came in and performed better than Schlittler did in the regular and postseason from the trade deadline onward. With that being said, There's the other side of that spectrum. The other side is what happened with Will Warren in 24, completely unusable. The other side is what happened with Volpe in 23 and what happened with him in 25 even. Just not a good baseball player. Jason Dominguez's defensive issues. Like there are things that pop up for prospects that you just don't really foresee being as bad or on the other side as good as it ends up being until it happens, until it plays out. If we could easily, like, if we could just kind of have the foresight to know what guys are going to really struggle at and really excel at, I don't know. So, for me, again, it's one of those things with prospects, very hard for me to sit here and go, yeah, the Yankees need to play the kids, don't need to play the kids, whatever it may be. Sign Bichette, trade for Quan, and trade Jazz. Look, if the Yankees got Bichette, and I know that it was Chris NYY, shout out Chris NYY, great dude. I was really happy to see his Jackson Dart post go off. I believe this post got some traction as well on Instagram, but I'm glad to see a guy who I know built it out the mud, a guy who built his own platform, is doing his own thing. I'm really happy to see that kind of person have success with his platform. So I was really happy to see that. It was awesome. Like I follow him on Instagram, but it's not like it just popped up because that actually just popped up in my For You page when I was doom scrolling on Instagram Reels. But look, I actually like this. I like this idea. I think you are getting worse defensively at second base, but I think you're getting better at left field because I think Quan is a better defensive left fielder than even Bellinger. Offensively, I think Bichette and Jazz are based on last year, Bichette is like roughly as good of a hitter as Jazz is. I think projections would have Bichette as the better hitter. Now the track record with Bichette offensively is better than the track record with Jazz, but athleticism wise, Bichette going from Bellinger and Jazz to Quan and Bichette, you're getting a lot slower. Your sprint speed drops off a cliff. Your base running value drops pretty significantly as well. Those are concerns for me. I think these are good players. If the Yankees ended up doing this and let's say trading for a starter somehow or signing a starter, that would be great. But I do think you're expending your trade capital because Jason is gone in this scenario. It's one of those things where, you're expending a lot of capital. And I think, again, like the idea of Bichette and Quan, if those are their second baseman and left fielder next year, probably a good lineup. But the pitching staff, what is the pitching staff going to do here? And then when it comes to Jazz, are you upgrading enough where it's worth essentially taking yourself out of signing a big free agent? And for me, at least, I don't know if that's really the case. And I don't mean this to be rude to Bo Bichette. If someone's like, hey, I think Bo Bichette is a better second baseman than Jazz Chisholm, that's fine. But you have to think about upgrades, not as, hey, this guy's on the Yankees now. It's this guy compared to the guy who was here a year ago, compared to how that guy who was here a year ago projects for 2026. Compare those two data points, compare the defense, compare the base running, compare the offense, and try and figure out how much better. Is Bichette a win better than Jazz Chisholm? I don't think so. And if you're not getting a win better, why am I using my bullets of a big contract, my 5 or 6 year contract? Why am I using it on second base when I need a left fielder, when I need a starting pitcher, when I need relievers, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third? It is not that Bo Bichette is not a good baseball player. It's not that Bo Bichette doesn't help your lineup. It's not that Bo Bichette, honestly, offensively, isn't a better fit than Jazz Chisholm as a right-handed hitter. It is that the upgrade you get is a luxury, and the Yankees have needs. And before you take care of your luxuries, you take care of your needs. If you can address a luxury, or if you can go get a luxury piece, you go get the luxury piece. But you have to get through your needs first. The Yankees have not displayed a consistent ability to complete off seasons. This past year, they didn't get that fourth infielder, whether it was adding a third baseman and keeping Jazz at second, or moving Jazz and keeping him at third and having somebody else play second base. The Yankees did not complete that plan. They struck out in the infield market, and it probably cost them a chance to win the division and maybe go to the World Series. So the Yankees need to be more diligent in checking all of the boxes. Checking all of the boxes, in my opinion, is more important than going out there and trying to get luxury additions. Now, I'm going to keep it moving here. I've kind of gotten stuck on a couple of things here. Joe, I really appreciate this, man. Joe saying, I also wanted to thank you, Go. You go live my last hour of work, so it goes by quicker hopping on here. Joe, I really appreciate it, man. You're my guy. You're my dog. Really appreciate you, not only as someone who, checks out my content and watches and listens to these live streams, but as a great individual. You're the man, dude. I really rock with you, bro. I really do. I hope you know that. I also want to kind of keep it on the Jazz point here. Yankees are treating Jazz horribly. Bro wants to be an NY. Team loves him. Fans love him. Bring much needed flair. Zero extension talks. I think it's just the Yankees don't do extensions. I don't think it's personal to Jazz, but I do think there's a little bit of like a lack of appreciation for the player type. A lot of Yankee fans kind of forget how desperate this team was for left-handed power, speed, defense. Like, let's fast forward back 2 years. Gleyber Torres came off a really good 2023 season, and he was a really damn good hitter. Like, Gleyber had a strong 2023 season. If you look at among second basemen, I'm going to share this tab instead. Gleyber was a 3.7 WAR player, 158 games, 122 WRC plus. This was a really strong year, and it was still like a good player, not a top 2 or 3 second baseman. Then you look at 2025. Jazz in fewer games played was nearly worth a whole win more. Better weighted runs created plus, much better base runner, really good defender. Jazz Chisholm covers so many things that you want if you're a Yankee fan. And he is so damn good on the bases, and he's so damn good with the glove, and he's got so much power. I don't see why the Yankees need to view him as a liability. Right? Let's look at, let's say, projections here. And, projections aren't everything. We'll go back to results in a second. Projected second baseman. Jazz is a top 5 projected second baseman in terms of wins above replacement. Projected to lead the position in home runs, trail his teammate in Caballero in stolen bases, total base running value, top 5. Total projected defensive value, kind of a weird. I think it's a weak defensive projection, personally. Like, you can't convince me he's going to be a worse defender than like Zach Geloff or Christian Moore or Vaughn Grish. That is crazy. Okay, I really hate Steamer's defensive projections. It's a whole other conversation. But when it comes to weighted runs created plus, inside the top 5, home runs inside the top 5, stolen bases inside the top 5. Like, this guy's projected to be a monster. He's projected to be a really darn good second baseman, one of the 3 or 4 best second basemen in baseball. If you look at since 2024, you look at players. These are just players. Like, this is not even since he joined the Yankees, just 2-year sample size. Wins above replacement, 8.4. Who's that slightly ahead of? Kyle Schwarber. Freddie Freeman. He's played fewer games than Freddie Freeman over this sample size. Like, Mookie Betts, Alex Bregman. And if only a handful more games than Bregman, the WAR gap wouldn't have been closed if you normalized the games played. Swanson, Devers, Kwan, Olsen, Machado, even Bellinger the last 2 years. Weighted runs created plus. I know he's not going to grade out as well here because on a per rate basis, I know that Miami sample size really killed him. But offensively, I mean, he's in some pretty good company here. Better than Donovan, better than Pena. This is a damn good hitter. Not a great hitter, but a damn good one. Again, base running value. Who are the top base runners in the game? Jazz is up there, man. Top 15 base runner. Stolen bases, 71. 5th. So, like, again, and then home runs, 55. Where are we? Inside the top 30. Yeah, okay. Point with all this is with Jazz Chisholm Jr. is that, this guy stats the stuff sheet. Good power, good speed, good defense at second base. Again, he's a really good player. We got to stop talking about Jazz Chisholm like a liability. It's not that you have to think he should be extended. It's not you got to think he's a superstar. It's not that this, that, and the third. You got to just know that he's good. If we can't agree on the premise that he's a good baseball player and one of the 4 best second basemen in the game, what are we doing? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Do you think we go for Imai? So my understanding is that market has gone cold. There is not a lot of buzz around Tatsuya Imai. A lot of teams have some concerns about what he can do in 2026. The thing is not that Imai stinks, right? Imai does not stink. Imai's a good pitcher. I like Tatsuya Imai. Boris is asking for this guy's an ace money. No one's willing to pay this guy's an ace money. And unlike like a Framber Valdez, unlike a Cody Bellinger, unlike a Kyle Tucker, unlike any of these other top free agents who are struggling with their markets right now, these teams can just wait Imai out. Now, Munetaka Murakami is not the same. You can't compare Munetaka Murakami to Tatsuya Imai. It's different conversations. But these teams essentially walked Murakami down. Chip away at that clock. 2 days before he signs, comes out that he's a White Sox on a 2-year, $34 million deal. Now, if we want to look at projected contracts here, let's go with the free agent tracker. Median. Dude, Fangraphs projected a $132 million contract over 6 years. He didn't come close to that. Let's look at Spot Track. And this is, I think, a little bit of like the bump a lot of Japanese players are getting from a hype standpoint, in terms of like market value, where these guys are being considered like, oh, these guys going to get like these massive contracts. Let's see if I can find available. There we go. Market value. Can I find Imai on here? Is Tatsuya Imai going to be on here? Is the question. Trying to see if there are contract projections on him. I think ESPN projected a one. No, it was The Athletic projected a 190. Yeah. Look at this. The Cubs expressed interest in pitcher Michael King, but engaged in a way that they did not plan to be overly competitive as a free agent. Wait his final decision. Makes sense. I understand not giving him that contract. Now, the question I have is with Imai, because this was a mailback on the Cubs. So I wonder if Imai came up here. If Imai winds up matching the high-end estimates out there, blah, 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 then the Japanese pitcher likely won't be a Cub. They don't seem totally convinced it'll be true ace-worthy. Like, dude, they are like, this is a good point here too. Good point here too. Facing a deadline, the two sides eventually found some common ground. 4-year, $53 million contract. I kind of forget. I mentioned this point on a podcast that is going to come out tonight. The audio version is going to come out tonight. And it's kind of funny because I made this point. I was actually wrong on this point, looking back on this. Imanaga also had a pretty bad market, and teams were considered to be out or pulled back in because of it. Teams use these deadlines as ways to go, hold on. Wait a minute. We can wait you out. You can't wait us out. We're going to wait you out. Now, Imai can sign with a team today. If he signed with the Cubs today, I wouldn't be stunned. They're opportunistic. They want a starting pitcher. I'm aware of this. But the Yankees have a similar kind of interest in Imai where it's like, dude, we're not going to give you hundreds of millions of dollars. And look, I would have given him 150. But I am someone who knows nothing about Tatsuya Imai beyond just film, statistics. Like, I don't know the person. I don't know the dude. I don't have the projections. I don't have the exact, like, okay, my model estimates he'll put up about this amount of WAR, XYZ, this, that, and the third. I don't know these things. I don't. But teams do, including the Cubs, including the Phillies, including the Yankees. And these are teams that do not want Tatsuya Imai at the price tag that Boris is currently asking for. Now, will it end up mattering? Will the Yankees end up getting him? Time will tell. But I do think there's a little bit of like, hey, man, this guy might not get the money that he thought he was going to get. And in that scenario, hey, man, this would be a really fun addition if the Yankees can get him for like semi-cheap on a reasonable contract. I don't think the Yankees are going to sign him to a $200 million contract. I don't think they're going to sign him to a $180 million contract. Sorry. But I do think they might sign him at a, $100 million contract or an $80 million contract. And that could happen. Like, it is not impossible for Tatsuya Imai to get that money. And you might go, Ryan, this is terrible. This is awful. That's such bad process. And that's fair. Like, you can feel that way if you like the evaluation, if you have an evaluation of the player that you really like. But I'm telling you, it's not a Yankee thing. It is a league-wide thing. The league perception of Imai is that we can wait this guy down. Yes, as you mentioned, January 2nd, deadline for Imai. Teams can wait him out. Teams are going to wait him out. Teams are predatory in free agency. They're not caring. They're not Reds and Robert gaining smoke. Reds and trade talks with White Sox for Luis Robert. Okay, well, more than a year after talks went nowhere, sort of said re-engaging talks. said to be willing to eat half the salary. All right, there's a little bit of steam there. I would prefer the Mets get him because I don't want them to get desperate for Bellinger. That is, I want Bellinger to come back on a reasonable contract because I don't think they're going to sign Kyle Tucker. That is where my brain is at. Is that a reasonable place for our brains to be at? Yeah. I think it's fair. I think it's fair. Look, I think the Yankees, I think every team in baseball would say, yeah, I wish that Scott Boras wasn't an agent, but he's really good at his job. Like, credit to the guy. The dude's great at his job. The guy rocks at being a GM, whether we like it or not. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just posting the audio version of an episode, real quick, that you guys can check out. We'll have the video version up tomorrow. Bellinger not coming back. Look, it's possible he doesn't come back. It's possible he does come back. I personally lean towards, until I see a team come out of nowhere and make the kind of offer that Bellinger is looking for, which I don't think he's settling for a 4-year deal right now, but I could be wrong. I'm not directly involved. I'm not in the room. I don't know, but it would stun me. For Cody Bellinger, do I believe the New York Yankees are going to I don't think the New York Yankees are going to bid against themselves for Bellinger. The same way for Imai, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh man, the Yankees have to. And I'm not, just listen. I'm not saying the Yankees have to acquire Tatsuya Imai and give him what he wants today. Right? Like that keeps coming back to like, why should I make an offer that isn't on the table? Shit, he better not. Because if he doesn't, if he's still on the table, dude, he's going to sign a bad contract for himself. He's going to sign a bad contract for himself. I would give it I'm going to give it an even better chance than 50-50. I'm going to give it an even better. I'm going to say it's 60-40. And the reason I say that is, again, tell me who's in. What if the Cubs overpay for Imai? Then he'll be a Cub. Right? And that's possible. Again, kind of like what I mentioned in that article, it all matters. It all stems back to free agency. What is free agency? You're one phone call away. You're one phone call away. You're one Cubs going, shit, dude, we need Imai. Let's go get him. And then you don't have Imai, and then he's on the Cubs, and it is what it is. And it would suck, but you got starters on the board in the trade market, this, that, and the third. Are the Yankees going to sign, two big money contracts? I don't really know. Blah, 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 all that stuff. But when it comes to, we got Cam Schlittler. What's up, guys? I'm assuming this is Drew Thorpe, my boy Drew. I'm assuming this is my boy Drew because of the gear, the wrench. I'm gonna make a bold assumption here and to say that that's Drew Thorpe, my boy. But if that's Cam Schlittler, it'd be great too. Cody Bellinger is a Dodger. Look, if he's a Dodger, that's going to be a really good addition for them, given that it would likely be on a 3 or 4 year deal. But again, I mean, I simply don't believe that these other teams are dying to make these outrageous offers to Cody Bellinger. So when people go, hey, this guy is going to get a big offer from someone else, 100%, Yankees will definitely not have the top offer on the table, I will tell you a couple of things. Number one, it is possible the Yankees don't have the top offer on the table. It is possible. It is definitely possible. I will also tell you, it is possible the New York Yankees have the top bid on the table. It is possible that no team is willing to go to 5 years other than the Yankees. It is possible that the rest of the market goes, hey, this is not a guy I'm willing to pay for as long as it's going to be necessary to pay him in order to keep him here. Like, I'm not going to go a 5th year and match the Yankees when my ballpark tells me that Cody Bellinger is probably a 110 OPS plus guy here. Again, the issues I have with all this is that it all comes back to this idea that the New York Yankees are in hot are like seriously competing with other teams who are hot in pursuit. Is it possible that the market is wrong? Sure. Great. Possible. Definitely. It's not what's been publicly reported. It's not my understanding of the situation. Teams do not want to go 5 years. Bellinger as things stand right now. Yankees and Okamoto, I doubt the Yankees pay the premium price for what is a non-starting player for them in 2026 if they add Bellinger back. So we'll see. I'm just trying to type out this bio here. I'm being very transparent with you guys. I'm just trying to type out the bio for this podcast episode that is going to drop. For those on the Patreon, it'll be there too. It's not like an early drop thing. It's on Spotify first. I'm just going to start dropping these audios first. But yeah. Anywho, as it pertains to the Bellinger market again, I just have this hard time believing. And I could eat shit. I could eat crow, and this could end up aging really poorly. You got a hard time convincing me that a team's really that in. That it seems like, oh man, dude. Like if there was an offer like that on the table, he'd be on that team already. If a team was willing to make a 6-year offer, I think he'd be on that team right now. And look, if he signs right now, then yeah, that would be the evidence of it. But again, I'm going to keep coming back to the idea that. And look, William, it's not that I think he specifically affects them. It's the fact that teams can wait these dudes out. It's the fact that teams can just wait you out. Like they can just say, yeah, you're gonna, you have to, right? It's you have to, you have to stay here. Or, now you have to say you want to sign. It's got to happen. You want to sign, it's got to happen. That is where Murakami and Okamoto might ending up like, hey, you want to come stateside, you've got to sign this deal. And if you don't want to sign this deal, your ass is going back to Japan because that's how the deadline works. You don't sign, you go back to Japan. And look, it'll be really funny. Like, I think Sagano did this. He just said, all right, I'm going back. I wonder if Amai and Okamoto will be like, all right, I'm going back. These are both Boris guys, by the way. So these dudes are asking for a premium, and they don't have a contract on the table that they want to sign right now. And if they did, they'd sign it because they have time, or they don't have time. They have to sign in 2 weeks. And I don't know if, I'm not acclimated with Japanese culture. I would not know. I don't know, if Christmas is seriously celebrated. I don't know a lot of things. There's a lot of things I don't know. But I'd imagine that Scott Boras is taking Christmas off. Right? Like, I'd imagine Scott Boras is taking Christmas off. That is something I would know, I think. I hope. Right? I think for his health. Right? So, yeah. Overpaying DJ Bellinger is not the move. I agree. You should not overpay a player because another team might be stupid enough to do it. If another team is stupid enough to do it, go ahead. You want to give him 7 years, $200 million? Fine. He's your guy now. Good luck with that. Hope it works for you. And I mean that genuinely. I'd have no ill feeling towards Cody Bellinger because it's his right. It's his right. He's got a right to it, guys. He's got a right to it. He's got a right to it. But we'll see what happens there. Yankees going to be like the 2023 Yankees before they got Soto. You just mean the 2023 Yankees. That team won 82 games. I don't think you needed to use the superlative or the asterisk. That team sucked. We're all aware of it. Offensively, it stunk. Look, it's possible this team has a complete collapse and their roster completely underperforms. It happens. But I simply do not believe that we have to worry about like 5th percentile outcomes and go, oh yeah, we've got to, like, because that could happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's kind of like going, look, in theory, Shohei Ohtani could get injured and play 50 games, 60 games, and the Dodgers struggle all year because they don't have Ohtani or they're not as good as they should have been, whatever, this, that, and the third. That could happen. It's actually not even that hard to believe that Shohei Ohtani could play 50, 60 games. He could just run into a wall. He could trip. He could get hit in the hand. Like, things can happen. That's baseball. But I think if you're a Yankee fan, you're like, it's going to happen. And all it takes is this happening, and then that'll go wrong. Like, you can do this with every team. You can do this with every team. The same can be said for a lot of teams. What if the Blue Jays lost Vladdy? What if you took out Vlad Guerrero Jr. from this lineup? You hit him from the lineup. And you put, I don't know who plays first in this roster even, actually. Does anyone here play first that I'm fully aware of? That I'm not aware of? Sorry. I think like Lucas or Barger. Barger can play first. Yes, Barger, I think, can play first. Right? He's tall. He's never really played first. Let's say Barger plays first. And you put Davis Schneider in. Are we not going to sit here and go, is that team winning 90 games if Vlad were to play 50 of them? And all it takes is Vlad got hit in the hand. Vlad got spiked in a way that was really severe. It's like, dude, it can happen to anybody. This can just happen at any point in time. And every team in baseball is hoping it doesn't happen to them, but it happens. Garrett Cole just missed all of last year. It happens. It happens. And if you're trying to build a baseball team and you're going, because this can happen, it will happen, and we should be worried because it could happen, I think we're fear-mongering a little bit. We're fear-mongering a little bit. Ryan, I've stolen your phrase, turbo, and to define people in real life that are dog shit. Thank you so, yeah, dude, I just go, this guy's turbo. Guy's turbo, right? Guy's turbo. That's what I say. This guy's turbo. Guy's turbo. Turbo! Not going to lie, I thought they'd show more interest in Tucker considering the lack of position player star hitting the market anytime soon. Junior, I agree. I think that Tucker is a missed opportunity if they're not showing at least interest. I'm not saying you've got to sign every player who is good and who makes sense for your roster. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how sports work, right? I'm aware of how it works. Baseball, transactions, sports, it's not linear. It's not black and white, right? It can be dynamic. This can be dynamic. And I say that in a sense of sometimes not signing the big guy is actually good for you. I kind of look back in history and try and pick out examples. The Dodgers really wanted Anthony Rendon. They missed. They traded for Betts a few months later, and they avoid one of the worst contracts ever. That can just happen. I'm not saying that's Tucker. I'm not saying just hold on. I don't want people taking words out of my mouth right now. It is to say that I think they can build a good team in a myriad of ways. I think Tucker is how they build their best team. I also thought Soto and doing almost nothing else would be better than acquiring Fried and Bellinger and this and the third. And for 2025 specifically, the plan B outcome would have been better than Soto and not adding a big starter. So I do think there is some leeway with this stuff where it's not black and white. Baseball is simply not a black and white sport. This is a dynamic game full of various outcomes that surprise us. And I just say it all to say, in this free agent class where nothing's really moving, remain opportunistic, remain in on everything. If they're completely out on Tucker, that is bad process. But stay in on everything, stay involved in everything, see what guys, their markets fall or don't fall, and try and build a competitor. Because again, an outfielder, a starting pitcher, a reliever. You can do those three things. I think you've got a really strong roster for 2025 or 2026. Hayes. Oh, there's an Austin Hayes question. Hold on. Where are we? Okay. Where are we? Dominguez Hayes platoon. Look, I think it'd be a productive outfield platoon. And I know people are going to kind of groan and go, oh, Jesus Christ. But again, it's not like it's going to be that is not going to be a bad offensive platoon. It will be a bad defensive platoon. That is where I have my concern there. Because man, can Dominguez not really field his position at all. But I do believe that the Yankees would be able to get a 115 OPS plus out of this. And they get a 115 OPS plus out of this. It's likely a similar outcome to what Bellinger is going to give you. If you got a 120 OPS plus out of Bellinger, I'd consider that a good year considering his glove in left field, where you would get a downgrade as defensively. And I do think that matters. We can't ignore defense in these conversations. We cannot look at things as just what is your OPS plus and that's it. You've got to factor in defense. What is your value on Bellinger? Ideally for me, it's 4 for 100. I like the player, but I see him as more of a support than star and don't really want to go past that due to metrics, production, volatility. Yeah, look, I mean, Bellinger is a volatile player. He's a good player. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is a guy who is bad because I don't believe he's great. I think he's good. I don't believe he's great. And when we look at kind of the Cody Bellinger projections here, Cody Bellinger had a 125 WRC plus, projects for 116. Put him in Yankee Stadium, probably projects closer to like a 120 WRC plus player. I think his projected OPS is like 770 something. Probably going to project for a higher OPS plus than that. Like he's probably going to or OPS than that if you put him on the Yankees. He's probably going to project for I'm trying to find this. Probably going to project for a like he's projected for 782 OPS, might project closer to a 790. You get a 790 OPS player with a 120 OPS plus or WRC plus with his defense. Like that's a really good baseball player. There's no, like, you can't take that away from a guy. That is a good baseball player. That's a guy who probably produces 3.5, 4 wins above replacement, but it's not a star. And I'm not willing to pay, like, that is the peak year you're going to get out of him probably under this contract, which is 4 wins above replacement. Am I going to pay $30 million a year for 6 years for that? No. Am I going to pay $25 million for 6 years for that? Probably not. But I think that with Bellinger, there is a chance that he is a good player. And if the Yankees can just find that sweet spot with the contract where he's not overpaid, he's not paid for too long, the Yankees are going to like the Cody Bellinger contract. I think that can be a possibility for them, depending on how things go there, because Bellinger is a good hitter who's a great fielder and a solid base runner. He is good at a lot of things. He's not bad at a lot of things. That is really valuable. The problem is trying to project that long-term and seeing how that skill set will age. That is where we have some issues. Now, let's move on. And I want to talk about Anthony Volpe because I see a lot of like, this is going to suck because Volpe's still here. Anthony bleeping Volpe, this, that, and the third. And I think Junior makes a really good point here. And it's not that I think Anthony Volpe is the best thing since sliced bread, but I do like this point. Yankee fans probably don't want to hear this, but if Volpe goes back to being good defensively like he was before 2025, he's a fine player. They're the best offense in baseball with him in the lineup. And I agree. It's not that you're hoping that this guy goes out there and kills it. He's not going to crush it. Like, he's not going to crush it, right? Anthony Volpe's not going to be a great baseball player in 2026. He's not going to hit very well. He's not going to produce an OPS plus above 100. He's not going to do anything offensively that wows you. But with the glove, he's pretty good. And the hope here is that with the glove, he remains good. He gets back to being that plus 10 outs above average guy. And in that scenario, with the defense, with good base running, with an 85 OPS plus, that player is likely going to provide you with around 3 wins above replacement. And that is not a great player, but that is a good player. And as Junior notes, the Yankees led baseball in runs scored with him doing that, with him doing nothing offensively. Again, I do not believe Anthony Volpe is going to improve on his offense this upcoming year. I have lost the ability to believe that's possible. But good players, solid everyday starters, above average everyday starters are not just defined by offense. We talked about this just about 5 minutes earlier with Austin Hayes and Jason Dominguez, where the concern is not that group can't produce offense if they're in a platoon. Again, a 115 OPS plus, a 760, 765 OPS. Those are totally possible outcomes for a platoon of those two players. But the defense means probably going to be like a 2.5 WAR pairing at best. That's a downgrade from even what Bellinger's projected to do, not just what Bellinger actually did last year. And again, like when it comes to errors are, I acknowledge Anthony Volpe was a bad defensive player this year. Anthony Volpe did not play good defense. Let's look at the fielding run value, which I think is a very good stat for this stuff. Anthony Volpe, I guess I got to sort by. I'm going to sort by innings played, but I can't really do that. Yeah, -5 outs fielding run value, -7 outs above average. It's just a bad defensive shortstop last year. It was a bad defensive shortstop last year. It just was. He was a bad defensive shortstop last year. But when we look at the career numbers, year prior, +8 fielding run value, plus 14 outs above average, 6 defensive runs saved. The year prior, 15 defensive runs saved, 1 outs above average, 1 fielding run value. Was a pretty plus defender in 2 of his 3 years. I personally believe that Anthony Volpe, if he remains the defender he was, aggregate the 2023-2024 seasons, hell, even aggregate the 3 years he spent in the big leagues, if he's a plus defensive shortstop, which he's been for most of his career, and he repeats his offense, which he probably will, he's not a good hitter, you're going to get about a 2-win player. And you might even get a 3-win player. And again, that's not a great player. That's not that, but that is an above average everyday starting player. And as Junior mentioned, despite the offensive struggles that Volpe provided, despite the nothingness the Yankees got out of Volpe offensively, the team still led the league in runs scored. Do you believe that his sudden regression was a result of a labrum injury? That's a great question. I do believe defensively there's some of that in there, but I do think he just started making bad decisions at one point. I personally watched his defense and I went, wow, this guy's making some decisions that don't even make sense, man. He was not going after some balls he should have been after. He was not aggressive on certain plays he should have been aggressive on. He didn't make certain reads he should have made reads on. He was throwing baseballs he should have been throwing. His decision making was not as good this past year as it's been in recent years. Do I think his injuries limited him? Yes, I do think it limited him. Do I think this comment is kind of like what you hope for? Can he give me a 90 OPS plus and play some defense? Like, sure, I'm sure he can. But again, it's like, the thing that gives me anxiety with Anthony Volpe is the fact that there is not an option on the roster who you can plug him in and he's solid, right? Caballero is that, I guess, but even then, like, I prefer Caballero as this utility guy. Play him at third against lefties. Put Rosario in the outfield against righties in the scenario where Jason Dominguez is still on the team and they need a way to platoon their outfield. Like, there are just things I'd rather them be able to do with Rosario and Caballero than, hey, I need one of you guys to essentially babysit Volpe at shortstop. And if the Yankees could improve at shortstop, I'd be open to it. Like, if the Yankees could add Nico Horner, I'd want that. Because he's better at shortstop than Volpe is as a hitter, potentially as a fielder. Like, those are things, as a base runner for sure. And this is also fair. Hey, you don't want a mediocre player at shortstop, but again, can a mediocre player at shortstop be a team that the Yankees win the World Series with? Probably. Like, you can do it depending on what you have around him. The issue is that what you have around him, the issue here is that Volpe is not a good player. He's a solid player. But yeah, that's really it. Sorry. Yankees are going to be fighting for last place in the East next year. Odds are against that, man. Like, and this is where I kind of get pissed at the Yankee fan. I get the anxiety. I get the general frustration. I get all these things. Like, I'm a fan, dude. Like, you guys got to remember, I'm not like just a media pundit who popped in here, hired by some, I'm not saying this is anybody, but I'm just like throwing out some like crazy scenario here. I am not some government controlled Yankee PR guys in my ear telling me, hey, if you say something mean about the Yankees, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not what I am. I'm an independent. We are an independent company. We're not owned by anybody associated with the Yankees. We're an independent company. I'm an independent media guy. I'm an independent content creator here at Empire Sports Media. I can say whatever I want, however I want. I choose to be respectful because that is basic human decency, and I hope that my basic human decency is reciprocated in all forms of life. I am not compelled to tell you this team is good, is my TLDR. If I think this team sucks, I'll tell you I think the team sucks. If I think this team isn't good enough, I'll tell you I don't think the team is good enough. And I currently don't think the team is good enough, which is why I'm saying, hey, outfielder, starter, reliever. But I do think the current team is solid. Like, it's a team that would win like 87 games and make the wild card. That's what they currently are. And considering that they have done nothing else, nothing, they have so much they have to do to be an 87-win team as things stand right now, is a thumbs up for me. That is a sign that if they make the improvements, this can be a very good team. The potential for them to be a very good team is also still out there. Who are your top two outfield targets? If it's not Tucker and Bellinger, in that order, you are crazy. You are psycho in terms of best players. Best players, not best fits, not the quirky guy who you're like, I'm valuing, contract value. No, the two best projected players for the Yankees outfield are Kyle Tucker and Cody Bellinger. Both are on the board. The number 3 is Stephen Kwan, still on the board. Brendan Donovan might be somewhere in that contingency plan, still on the board. Luis Robert is still on the board. Point in all of this is everything is still there. They can do all of these things. The Yankees do not need to panic about these things not currently being done. We can panic because we're worried and we're not in that room and we don't know what's going on here. That's why we're worried. That's why we're panicked. This, that, and the third. Hold on. Take a shot. Take a shot. Yeah, look, they won 83 fucking games last year, guys. They wasted a year of one of the greatest hitters we will ever see play the sport. We had 1 year at Soto. We went to the freaking World Series. Why are we pretending like the Met fan experience or like the Met fan or the Met organization deserves more credit and more more acclaim than the Yankees? This is such a spoiled take. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. It's such a spoiled opinion, I think, where it's like, dude, this team is good. This team is good. It's not great. It needs work. But they're good. That's where I'm at. All right? That's where I'm at. Okay, fellas. Let's keep it going. 6 weeks spring training. It's not 6 weeks until spring training, dude. Holy shit. Wait, he might be right. Wait. Oh my God, Joey, wait a minute. 1 week? We got a week and a half. Holy shit. Yeah, 6 weeks spring training. Oh my God. 6 weeks, I gotta start doing my job again. I'm joking. I still do my job. But yeah, no, that's the scary part, right? Like, that's the scary part. A lot's gonna happen in a little bit of time. We're gonna be like, what are they gonna do? What the hell? So that's the scary part. That's scary. It's terrifying. A lot's gonna happen in a little bit of time. I get it. I'm a freaking fan. I have panic attacks every 3 or 4 days thinking about, are they gonna actually trade for a starter? Or are we getting duped? Is this third base all over again where I talk about how badly they need one and they tell me that their stupid internal options are better or as good? If Ryan Yarbrough and Paul Blackburn are getting freaking opening day starts and it didn't add anybody, dude, I will be breaking it down of dude, this is a disaster. Hal Steinbrenner should be ashamed of himself. These guys are losers. I will be there with you guys. We'll be in lockstep. We'll hold hands and we'll sing Kumbaya. Not really Kumbaya. We'll be singing Burn It Down, Blow It Up, End Things Here, Blow It Up. Right? Blow it up. Yeah. Dude, Kyle Tucker's a monster, man. Kyle Tucker's and Montromeng. This guy's a monster, man. This guy's a stud. This guy's different, man. This guy's a beast of nature. Few guys who ball out the way that Kyle Tucker has. That's just where I'm at. So yeah. Jonathan, thank you for the super chat, Jonathan. First and foremost, can't have another year of Volpe, Wells, McMahon, all hitting under 220. Sorry, but we got lucky first half of the season and end of the season with weak teams. Need guys on base at the bottom of the order. Well, first off, Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. But what I will say, Jonathan, in regard to, I don't keep this up here actually. The bottom of the order. Look, I agree. Look, they need to make sure the bottom of the order is reinforced. But is it crazy to say that the guy who put up a slightly below average offensive season for a player and a basically league average season for a hitting catcher offensively can just play to his league average offensive barometer? Can he do that? Yeah, probably. Don't think that's out of the cards. I don't think that's impossible. So let's say we can get a league average offensive season out of Wells, which is pretty good. Not going to, McMahon, Volpe's going to be bad. Volpe's just going to be a bad hitter. We're aware of this. McMahon, I talked about this before. Can we get that league average is it like there are a couple of above league average years here. There's a right around league average year here against righties. Like I can see it. I can envision the outcome where this guy gives me, a 105 OPS plus against righties. I don't think it's out of the cards. And then you got Rosario who can play third, or Caballero. You can even put Caballero at third if you really care about the defense. I bet Rosario this past year against lefties, 125 WRC plus. Like your bottom of the order is not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. I don't mean to say this in a talking down on people way. I understand. Like I'm not going to know everything about the game of baseball. I get it. I'm going to be wrong about things. But Ahmed Rosario is going to be like when the Yankees play against a right-handed pitcher, they're going to have one black hole. It's going to be Volpe. As things stand right now. Against lefties, let's look around. Actually, let's just do the look around the diamond. Guys, I'm going to try and build graphics for the new year to do this kind of stuff. Let's look around the diamond, fellas. Against righties. Feel good. Injury concern. I feel good, though. Feel good. Average. Don't feel good. Average. Against righties. All right, so don't feel good. Scared. But he's staying. I'm pretty convinced he'll hit them at least a little bit. TBD. My biggest, if I'm being a real, your below average hitter against righties is Jose Caballero. That's one position. So there's not really a black hole against righties. Against lefties, yeah, there's a black holes. Catcher's a black hole. Rosario becomes a third baseman, not a black hole. Black hole. League average, good. League average, good. Below average. So you got average, good. You got, wait, hold on. Let's count the averages. 1, 2. I have 2. Below average. 1, 2, 3. 3 below average, 2 average, 4 above average because you're going to slide Rosario in there. If you bring back Bellinger, tips the scale. 5 above average, both sides of the ball. 5 above average. And if you can find a way to add, it'd be really cool if they could add a center fielder who can hit righties, like a Dane Myers. That'd be cool because you can, kind of platoon with Grisham. That'd be sick. Have a fourth outfielder. Then at that point, you've completed that part of your roster a little bit more. And you would just have Wells as your below average. Again, it's like you're trying to build out this roster. You need to look at it from how many bad players do I have offensively. So, yeah, and this is a big problem. Once you overrun on how many games Stan's going to miss, he's going to miss over 50. He might miss 100 this year, guys. He might miss 100. Totally possible. And how good is he going to be in those 100 games, right? So that's the issue. Would have to jump through 2 hoops in the front office. Can't seem to manage step 1. Hey, look, I think, again, we got to wait and see what happens here. But I think, again, I really want to be able to build out a graphic for this. I'm going to try and I'm going to hold my craft is kind of L game plan here with Los Yankees and Fireside Yankees. We'll kind of see how this goes. It'll be really fun to kind of explore this. But again, I don't believe we're looking at a Yankees team who should be worried, who should be scared, who should be terrified of the offense. I think the pitching staff's got concerns. The offense has issues. The offense has issues. Don't get me wrong. But I think the offense is firmly good. And I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid to say that. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? I think a lot of people are afraid to say it. That's my hot take. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to start wrapping things up here on Fireside Yankees. If you can like this, we'd really appreciate it. I'm not going to be able to go much further tonight. I really apologize. That's what she said. But we really appreciate your support here on the Fireside Yankees YouTube channel. Goodbye for the holidays. Bye. See you guys. This is not what this is. I'd be okay with Ryan Mountcastle, by the way. I'd be okay with that. This is not I'll see you guys after Christmas. No. Ryan Garcia is back tomorrow night, baby. Ryan Garcia, I'm going on a date tomorrow with my girlfriend. It's in the freaking afternoon, man. It's in the freaking afternoon. We are wired. For the love of the freaking game, man. For the love of the freaking game. I'm going to be dating somebody who I love very much. But I'm married to the game. I'm married to the game. The game is my spouse right now. We're going out there. We're balling. Tomorrow night, we're balling. We're balling. 2 hours. I might go 3 hours for the stream. We might start at 6 tomorrow, fellas. Fellas, I'm feeling like we start a 6 o'clock stream. I say we just rock the stream. I say we just let that stream just rock. Let it ride, baby. I say we go out there and we ball. If you want to sit here, get dug in, be like, blow off my in-laws, blow off my relatives, blow off my friends. Fireside Yankees, we're here. Are you dating the game or are you married to the game? I'm married to the game. I'm married to the game. Are you married to the game? Are you locked in to talk 3 hours about minor league transactions? Ali freaking Sanchez, baby. Married to the game. We're breaking it all down here on Fireside Yankees. Again, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Check out Fireside Yankees. Yeah, we're here. We're here, Jonathan. We're here. We're here. Oh, yeah, baby. A lot of coffees. We're burning through coffees tomorrow night. But love you guys. Really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Check out Fireside Yankees on all of your favorite social media. Okay, bro. Check out all our social media platforms. I'll throw links to everything in the description and have that there nice and pretty for you guys to check it out. I really appreciate the support, guys. You guys have been awesome. We're gonna be we're a slut for the game, dude. We're locked in, fellas. We're locked in. And if you're gonna we're locked in. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Be here, be there, be square. We'll see y'all. Peace out, Yankees. Let's go, Yankees. Peace out, y'all.